I've tested every elite tier Nike football boot. And if you're looking to pick up a pair, this video is your cheat code. Welcome to the lab. In today's video, I'll be breaking down each of Nike's top tier football boots, so you can find the one that is perfect for your game. First up, the Nike Tiempo Legend 10 Elite. It features a thin synthetic leather-like upper called Fly Touch Plus, giving you a close, responsive feel for the ball. It doesn't feel as premium as kangaroo leather like we had with previous Tiempos, but it's still, in my opinion, pretty good. And because it's synthetic, that means Nike have been able to make the boot lighter, and when it's wet, it won't absorb as much water, so it won't pick up weight as you play. Also, in terms of tech, you'll get ACC technology, if that even means anything anymore. You are flying it in the tongue area and around the mouth of the boot for a more snug fit, a low soft heel cup, and a soft suede-like lining for extra comfort. And then on top of the upper, you have these kind of silicone pressed dots which are there for enhancing grip, but you don't really notice them when you play. The boot comes in 4 outsole variations, so the one I have is the firm ground. It also comes in SG Pro, which is the replaceable aluminium studs, and then there's SG Pro Anti-Clog, which is the permanent studs, which are plastic with metal tips. I believe the tip is steel. And then you have AG Pro as well for artificial pitches. I've used the FG model, and I'd say the sole play is actually quite aggressive for a touch boot. So if you want something a little bit less aggressive, I'd go with the AG Pro model. But the FG model itself is like, the outsole is like very responsive, it's very aggressive, and offers a great amount of traction too. Comfort wise, comfortable as you'd expect, and they're pretty much wearable straight out of the box because of how soft the heel is. The fit is, I'd say, neutral. It's not like as wide as previous Tiempo models, and because it's not natural leather, it won't stretch as much as well. I wouldn't say the boot is narrow, but the toe box itself is actually quite small, like your toes feel quite cramped sometimes. But overall, say if you're looking to get the boot, I'd say the best thing to do would be go true to size. Retail price, they go for £230, but the SG Pro models will be a bit more expensive, as well as some of the limited edition models as well. Tend to be like around £10 more expensive. However, you can find them on sale at much lower prices quite easily. Overall, if you want a boot with a traditional feel but modern tech, then the Tiempo Legend 10 is probably the boot for you. It's a great option. It may not be leather, but it's still class. Next, the Nike Phantom 6, which is Nike's precision silo or control silo or power, whatever you want to go with. Now, there's 2 variations of the boot. There's a low cut that I have in my hands, and as well as a high version where you have a lace cover and a DF collar. The only real difference is the one with the DF collar will provide maybe a little bit of lockdown and maybe a cleaner strike on the ball because the laces aren't there to kind of interrupt your touch. Oh, but really and truly, there's not going to be a huge performance. It's more really down to personal preference with those kind of things. And you're still going to get the same tech in each boot. The upper uses Nike's grip knit, this time with ribbing, and it's super grippy if you've not tried it before. So passing, shooting, dribbling, I'd say it all feels a lot more responsive because of the grip knit in this boot. There's also this reinforced strike zone across the kind of mid-step, I think it's called the medial side of your foot. I'm not too sure if that's the correct term. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but you don't really notice it much. And then the outsole uses everyone's favorite sole plate, the Cyclone 360, which is designed to reduce stress on your joints when you're pivoting, turning, twisting, etc. And this time, Nike have added an extra row of conical studs to relieve stud pressure that some people got with the previous model. And I'll tell you, from just using the boot, I'd say the outsole, it provides great traction, it's responsive, it's lightweight, it does what you want. And in terms of outsole variation, it comes in FG like I have here. If you're not a fan of the FG model, you're not convinced by the Cyclone 360, you can get the AG Pro, where you can still use that on grass and it'll still be fine. And of course, there's the SG Pro as well for your wet and muddy pitches. Fit-wise, Nike have used a new last when they designed these boots. It's 3mm shorter overall and 1mm higher in the toe area, so your little toes have more room to breathe. And I'd say if you have wider feet, this is probably the go-to boot, but it suits all foot types really. I recommend going true to size, and of course the lockdown in these is very good as well, especially in the heel. It feels like much more secure than it did on the previous model. Price wise, the low is going to cost you £255, which is a bit of a price hike from the previous model, and then the high version is going to cost you £265. And if you're looking to pick up a pair of Phantom 6s for yourself, please use the link in the description. It helps the channel. Thank you very much. Now, I'd recommend this boot to people who want a boot that does a bit of everything. I think this is probably the most well-rounded boot of all the options that Nike currently have. Yeah, responsive, grippy touch on the ball, good traction, comfort, lightweight, does a bit of everything really. So if you want a boot that's an all-rounder, the Phantom 6 is probably your go-to. But last but definitely not least, the Nike Mercurial Superfly 10/Vapor 16. For those who aren't aware, the Vapor is the low cut and the Superfly is the mid cut with the DF collar. Now, in terms of the cost, the Vapor is going to cost you £245 and the Superfly is going to cost you £255, with the SG Pro's model costing a bit more. However, this is a boot that's been out for like over a year now, so you can find them at low price quite easily. Now, in terms of the DNA of the boot, in the forefoot of the boot you have grip knit like it's not as grippy and as aggressive as on the Phantom 6. It's a lot more subtle, but you still notice the grip. It won't turn you into Cristiano Ronaldo in his prime when it comes to dribbling, but you know, you can still notice that it's there. And then in the heel of the boot, you have what Nike call Atom Knit, which is a more evolved version of Fly Knit, which is lighter, thinner, and more breathable. But the DF color, the dynamic fit color, I probably should have said that earlier, and the tongue area still use Fly Knit. And then underneath you have the super aggressive sole plate with evolved chevron shaped studs. That's Nike's terminology for them, as well as their air zoom unit and this kind of wave pattern which helps compress the air zoom unit to get more energy return. Now it won't turn you into Usain Bolt, but it provides a more springy, responsive feel. On feet, they're very comfortable, a lot of padding in the heel as well, and they're more forgiving on wider feet than previous models. I wouldn't say that like if you have super wide feet that the Mercurial is still for you, but like compared to previous models where you felt super strapped in and claustrophobic, this boot, you know, is a bit more expansive. However, as a consequence of that, the lockdown in this Mercurial is not as good as previous Mercurials. Don't get me wrong, the lockdown's not bad at all, but it's not as like that kind of strapped in feeling that you're used to with Mercurial, if you've been able to get your foot in there, of course. I think the best way to describe this boot would be like a running shoe with studs. And in terms of outsole variations, you can get FG like I have here, there's the AG Pro, and there's the SG Pro as well. So if you want a boot that helps you feel more explosive and just an overall more responsive feeling football boot, without the kind of aggressive grip that the Phantom 6 has, then I suggest that the Mercurial is the boot for you. So just to recap, the Tiempo Legend 10 for traditional touch with modern performance, Phantom 6 for all-round control, grip and versatility, and the Mercurial for a lightweight, responsive feel. Let me know which boots you're going to be rocking this season, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below. Like always, my name is Sub, this is Substance Football, thank you for watching, see you next time.